That's complete and utter nonsense. Okay. All right. So what do we do after we succeed in writing a program that does more or less what we want?
Save it.
That's what you should do. I was going for you say first try, no matter how many times it took. All right, so we got that right on the first try. Good job. Does anyone know how to turn off all the auto-completion stuff? Because I don't really want to say Karel.run main. That seems evil. Oh, is there like Zen mode? View. Zen mode. That's maybe not what I wanted. Why is it in the middle of the screen? Well, it works. Okay. Cool. All right, on to the next thing. We'll open. Courses. That'll work. Karel 3. So one of the reasons I tried to use this computer is this computer is getting quite old and it has a really hard time streaming. So anyways, that makes me sad, but we'll try. Okay, so we did this. Now we're going to move on to a motivating example. This is, well, we were talking about road construction, right? Which I guess I always have on my mind. So this time last year, me and everyone else in Portland was competing in a competition to take a picture of the largest pothole. This picture won because someone staged Barbies around it like it's a beach. That's awesome. So anyways, the idea of what we're doing here is we're going to say, hey, what if we could make a robot that was able to fill in potholes, okay? And so I'm going to model this as follows. Thus far, I think we've imagined Karel driving around in a two-dimensional space. Now I'm imagining Karel driving down a road, and I think it's easier to move my mouse over here. I think of this as the surface of the road, this as outer space, and this as a pothole in the road, right? So I'm just driving down a road, which we model the surface of the road as being in this dimension. So this is a down to up orientation rather than a like north, south, east, west, right? Just have to model it somehow. So we're going to try and write the function fill pothole, and we're going to fill the potholes with beavers because that's the only thing we're able to carry, right? So we can sort of imagine this, that I want to drive forward, turn to either the right or the left. I'm not very good with my directions. Move forward, place a beeper, turn around, move out of the pothole, and then turn, oh, this one I know, turn to the right, and then progress until there's another pothole. So let's do that example, okay? So here's my solution, but let's actually just make this, okay? So we're going to come over here to VS Code. We have turn right. Okay, and I think we put all of our functions in order, right? So the first thing I'm going to do, oh, can I not on the full screen when I'm in Zen mode? Incredible. Okay. So let's take a look at this. I want to move forward to get on top of the pothole. I think I want to turn right into the pothole. I want to move forward. I want to, is it put beeper or place beeper? It's put, okay. And then I want to turn around. I'm going to write another function for turning around because I don't want to write turn left twice, even though it's not that much more work. We're going to call this reverse, and I'm going to turn left twice. Oh, I could turn right twice. That would be extremely annoying. Okay, turn left, turn left. Okay. All right. So I'm going to reverse because I'm imagining I'm facing down and I just dropped my beeper off. Okay. I'm going to move out of the pothole. Somehow VS Code guessed that's what I wanted, so I think I'm going to do tab and grab that. I don't know. Then I'm going to try and turn right again. And then I will move. Okay. And we'll do that once. I'm going to press play in VS Code, but I'm not going to press play when Karel gets up. I'm going to try and make this little thing in Karel once I press play, okay? And then we're going to check to see if it works. Okay, so we're going to open up Karel. I still have old Karel open. Inconsistent use of tabs and spaces. Oh, this is good. This is a good example we've seen. Okay, so something that can go wrong, and probably the worst thing about Python, actually, is this error, a tab error, inconsistent use of tabs and spaces and indentation. I'm guessing it's right here. So I trusted a robot to write my code for me, right? The AI wrote that move, and that AI put a tab character there. You see that because I'm pressing the arrow once and it's moving over 4 characters, or that entire space. If I go down to the next line, and you can see I'm getting 1 at a time. One way to get around this is I think you can do view. There's a way to show white space characters, which might help. Appearance. Editor layout. I don't know. It's somewhere in here. Probably. I'm not going to keep speculating. Another thing you can do is, I'm going to zoom out a little bit and close this. Here's all of my text. I think I can do Control F to search for something, and then I can look for a tab, or I can look for 4 spaces. So here's, I think that's 3 spaces. If I search for 4 spaces, we'll see there's 1 place they're missing before a command. And there's also some kind of odd thing. So it looks like I accidentally put 4 spaces at the end of turn left here. And get rid of those. I don't know why there's 4 spaces here. But there's not 4 spaces here. So I'm going to put in my 4 spaces there. And then I think this code will run amicably.
Do you want it to be 4 spaces, or could it be all tabs?
It can be all tabs. It can also be all 1 space.
Okay.
Doing 1 space is pretty weird because you're probably using 1 space like after death, but some people do 2 spaces, that's fine. The conventions are 4, tab, and 8, and I'm supposed to have an opinion on this. Are you raising your hand, or are you vibing? Cool. Cool. So let's move Karel. Wait, no, we have to go into construction mode. Karel. Okay, and then I need walls, right? So Karel was on top of walls that were like this. Am I making this up? No, that looks right. Okay. Okay. That looks the same to me. Am I? Yes. Yes? Okay.
Mine doesn't have walls. Why does it not have walls?
Do you have this button?
Oh.
Yeah. Let's go through this again. Okay. So imagine we have no walls here, which I'm getting rid of by doing the X wall button. And this is all in construction mode, we recall. So I want to add walls, so I click on this button. And then I've found this a little finicky, but if you click on approximately where you want the wall to be, so like if I click right in the middle of these 4 squares, I don't really know where that wall is going to go. It looks like it just doesn't work, right? But if I like imagine a straight line between the 2 pluses and I click right in the middle of that, I often get the wall in approximately the right place. And I literally just figured this out by clicking around with it. I don't know that it's written down anywhere, so you can fiddle around with this as much as you like. I think Karel was made back before like video games were as good as they are now, and people were doing this for fun. And now Elden Ring exists, right? Okay, so I'm going to press play, and let's go through what I think is going to happen. I think I'm going to move, turn right, move, put a beeper, turn around, move out of the basement, pothole, whatever. Then I'm going to turn right, so I'm going to be facing this way again, and then I'm going to move. I'm only going to fill in 1 pothole, that's okay. Iconic. Well, there's 2 potholes. I have an ingenious plan. This function fills in 1 pothole, so I should actually just call this fill pothole. I should just do it twice. Wait, hold on, did that put a tab? No, okay, it's fine, it's allowed. I want to fill potholes twice.
I think you're going to have to move between the potholes, right?
Yeah, you were supposed to not notice that.
Sorry.
That's okay. I'm moving once between the pothole, because my fill pothole assumes I'm beginning directly in front of the pothole, right? Okay. Fine, we'll move. as our greatest philosophers and scholars once said, I like to move it, move it. Okay. Okay. So what's going to happen? I'm going to step... Oh, no, I have to remake the world. Okay. What? Okay. Just don't think about how Karel works. You'll be happier. Okay. That seems right? Okay. I'm going to use this little one at a time thing because I think that's an easier way to introduce what's going on here, right? So I'm going to press the one at a time thing, and it's going to do one Karel instruction. So when I do that, we're going to go to fill pothole. Fill pothole is just going to tell Karel, hey, look up in your list of instructions if you know how to fill potholes, and it'll find this. And it will do the first thing in there. So it's found fill pothole, and it's looking at move. It's going to move. Now it's going to look at turn right. Now it's going to look for turn right, its list of instructions, and it'll find it down here. So we'll go to turn right. There's turn right, and it knows the first thing to do when you're trying to turn right is to turn left. Obviously, this makes sense to all of us. So it's going to turn left 3 times. And then, when it's done with turn right, ran out of things to do, it's going to go back to where it started trying to turn right. So we don't have anything going on here, so we're going to go back to where turn right was happening, okay? So we'll go one more, and we're going to find move, okay? We'll move forward into the pothole. We're going to put a beeper. We're going to reverse, so we're going to look up reverse in our list of instructions. We find it right here. We're going to perform the 2 turn lefts, 1, 2. We're going to go back to where we were before, which was right here in this line, reverse. Then we're going to move, because we like to move it. We're going to turn right, same operation, 3 lefts. And then we're going to move at the end. If you would like to skip over one of these sort of function calls, I think you can use this button, which I did not mean to press, but we'll go, okay? So I'm going to move, and now I'm going to, once again, fill a pothole once I move. Okay, wait, is it moving? Okay, there we go. Okay, now we're going to fill a pothole again. So we're going to look up fill pothole in our list of instructions, which, by the way, we get to fill 2 potholes for only writing 1 function, right? This is a great deal. The city government would love this, right? Okay, we're going to move. I'm going to use this button, which I think is going to skip over turn right. It's going to do all of turn right at once. There you go. We're going to move. We're going to put a beeper. We're going to reverse. I have this, so this like arrow jumping over a wall thing implies we're going to go all the way around reverse, right? So I go all the way around reverse. I'm going to move. I'm going to turn right. And I'm going to move. And then I'm happy, I think. Maybe I am. It's unclear if I'm happy or not, but I'm certainly done executing code. That's functions. I'm supposed to tell you about comments. There's 2 ways to write comments. In the homeworks, you'll usually see these things that have 3 lines in them called doc strings. Now that LLMs exist, you never have to write your own ever again. I was very surprised that came in. Now that is a completely useless comment, right? Because Copilot has no idea what we're actually doing. But sure, that's one way to write a comment. And so the way comments work is, this is not code, this is for humans, this is not for computers. So if I save this and run it, the behavior of Karel will be identical. But we'll have a note to ourselves. So this will still work. I'm not putting the road in there, but I am going to fill in the imaginary potholes. So this comment does not change how the code runs. The other way to write code, other than including it in these triple quotes, is you can use, and I get a lot of heat for this, by the way. I'm going to hold down Shift and I'm going to press 3. That's an octothorpe. That's not a hashtag. That's not a pound sign, okay? The kids these days, they call it a hashtag because they're internet pilled, right? But the internet's evil and bad and wrong. You know what's cool? Phone lines, right? You pick up the phone and you type in 4 digits and it calls your friend across town, right? That's cool, right? It's hip. So You can also use octothorpe prefixed comments. And those also do not impact how the code runs, which I will demonstrate now by pressing play. Will I? No, it always takes this long, right? I always feel like I'm losing my mind every time I start Karel. Okay. If you're starting Karel and it feels like taking Karel's too long, you can say to your computer, it feels like you don't Karel at all, right? And then it will be embarrassed and go faster. No impact on the code running, right? Those are comments. So here's the example. I'm recommending you use octothorpe. Everyone else will recommend you use triple quotes. There's a reason for that. One thing to do, there's a problem that is variously called the give up instantly problem and also blank page syndrome, which is that students in computing classes love to be given an assignment and then say, I don't even know how to start. And that's totally valid. It is completely reasonable for you to say that. The problem is, as instructors, we kind of don't believe you because we design the assignments so you do know how to start, right? So our job is to fight about this because we're supposed to fight for you to know how to do things, and you're supposed to fight for us to teach you how to do things, right? So we have a natural conflict there. One of the ways to get around blank page syndrome, or not knowing what to even begin, is to write some code, any code. This code could be wrong, and in fact this code is wrong, right? It begins with a turn right, which would instantly run you into the road from our example. And put a comment on every single line describing what you think it is doing, right? Something that happens to me semi-regularly is students come into my office hour and say, I don't know what my code does. I say, that's odd because you wrote it. What does this line do? And they'll be like, I don't know. I was like, well, who wrote that line? They're like, the gremlins that live in my room broke into my computer in the middle of the night and put a turn left in the middle of my code. And I'll be like, see, you would have known that happened if you had a comment that said a gremlin didn't write this line of code, right? So here's an example of how I might document fill pothole, right? You face the pothole, you go to the pothole, you place the tar, which is the Academy Award-winning film featuring, who was in it? It was about like a composer or something. No, a conductor? You all watch movies?
No.
Okay, that's what I thought. Do you watch Netflix originals?
No.
You watch anime?
Maybe.
There we go. Okay. Turn left, move, right? I pretty regularly have code that has more comments than code in it, and this is how I do it. The octothorpes at the end of the line is a great way to solve problems. This class is designed, the person that designed this class said the goal is at the end of this semester, you can write a program that has 500 lines of Python in it. That's like an interesting metric because one of the ways to write 500 lines of Python is to write very inefficient code, right? So you sort of never want to gamify lines of code. Once you are done with this class, I will show you my solution to the final project that is 1 line of code long. Everyone hates that. It's like 4,000 characters. But what this means is these comments are 2 words each. Imagine you write 500 lines of code. I'm asking you to write 1,000 words, okay? I don't know how much your English professors are asking you to write, but I don't think I'm asking you to write more text than them, right? So it feels reasonable to me to expect you to write a comment for every single line of code you write. That doesn't seem extreme, right? I think the first assignment is going to be probably around 10 lines of code, maybe 20 lines of code for 2 problems. So I'm asking you to write 40 lines of text. Just write the comments, okay? All right, that's the def keyword. There's also loops. Let's demonstrate a loop. Loops are really weird to introduce in Karel because we're actually going to use a variable and we're not going to tell you it's a variable. Here's something that I've done 3 times. Instead of writing it 3 times, I can write 4, which is the same as def. It is a keyword that is built into the language. We do not define what 4 means. And because it's a keyword that's built into the language, the next thing I type after that keyword is a space, the same as def, okay? Instead of writing the name of a function I'm going to define, I write how many times to do things, and I write this in a very silly way. I give the name of a variable, which is by convention I for iterator. Colab is suggesting underscore, which is often used as well, but you can put anything you want there. And then I'm going to do something a certain number of times. So I'm going to use in, which is goofy. I'm going to specify a range, which is basically a list that is a certain length. So I'm going to create a list of a certain length, like a grocery list or a to-do list. It's going to have 3 things on it. And I'm not going to read the things on it. It's just for each one of those things I'm going to turn left. And then I'm going to delete the rest of these lines because I would be turning left too many times. Okay? I'm going to change this back to I because it looks terrible. This is the example in your book. This Karel was developed in a programming language that this looked a little bit different, which is you say for like that, which is perhaps even more confusing. A lot of people have opinions on the inclusion of for in Karel. The way to think of this is ignore all of this text, and just the number you put here is how many times Karel runs. Ignore this text. I'm doing my best, okay? I'm fighting for my life up here. Okay, that's not true. I'm actually having a great time. It did something? Okay, just put the number of times a thing should happen at the end. And then you just punctuate it with a frowny face, right? This is the frowny face, okay?
Do we need to actually know what the I means then, or just like put it in every time?
Just put it in every time.
So, but it could be any text there.
Yeah, hold on. Well, I have, wait, no, I know how to do emojis. I'm on Windows again. Okay, I think if I hold down Windows I, is that working?
Yeah.
Tree? There's a tree emoji, right? Is that, yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
So I think I can put a tree there. I'm not, if this breaks, it's your fault.
Oh, damn, I'm sorry.
By your fault, I was referring to myself.
Oh.
Yes, it's invalid. Okay, that's good. I was going to be really unhappy there. I don't know. Yeah, we'll put I there for now. I really wanted the tree to work. I thought that would have been fun. Okay, we're going to look at one other thing quickly. I'm going to run this again. And I'm going to do the single step operation, just when I get there. So, we drag Karel out of bed in the morning. Karel's just like me for real. Okay. Fill pothole, move, turn right. Is Karel not moving? Okay. Turn right. Okay. I'm jumping down to turn right. Okay. For I in range 3. So we read the for statement. We're going to turn left. And we're just going to do that 3 times because of the 3 right here. And then we're done. Then we go off the end. Something to look out for. Indentation matters a lot here. And the example is the difference between if I put move here, Karel moves 3 times. And if I put move here, Karel turns 3 times, then moves once. So I'm going to say indentation matters a lot. And that's why when we got that error between tabs and spaces, it was important, right? Because Python wouldn't be able to tell necessarily if you want to do things inside of loops. Okay. Good job. I'm supposed to be walking around the classroom learning your names right now, but that's okay. The exercise is move 5 and turn around with 4 loops. Cool. We're going to skip the exercise. If statements. Sometimes you want to do a thing if a thing is happening. You can ask Karel the following questions. There's a lot of questions. My recommendation is you bookmark this slide. So I think click on this to get a link to slide 14, which is numbered 13, and then you can get this. I had a really hard time finding this in the documentation, so do I have Discord on here? going to put this in the class Discord, which I don't know if you're going to check that, right? But this slide is very important. It will never load. Okay, so we're going to introduce the if statement. And the example we're going to use for the if statement is if no beeper is present, we're going to put a beeper. What are we imagining here? So there's another way to imagine the pavement problem, which is that, or I think I have an example on the next slide, right? So we can imagine that instead of pavement being the walls, that the pavement is we're supposed to have a thin film of beepers on the bottom of our screen, right? And there may or may not be beepers there, we don't know. And we don't want there to be 2 beepers because your tax dollars paid for those beepers, right? So we want to use the absolute minimum number of beepers. So what we can do is we can check to see if beepers are present and only put a beeper if there's not present. Not beepers present. Goodness sakes. Okay, so let's come back to VS Code. I'm going to hold on to turn right and reverse in case I need it. I guess I can hold on to fill pothole too. Okay, so I'm going to do def beeper if I. And this is going to check if there is a beeper present. So we're going to say if beeper's present. No, we're going to say if no beeper's present. Okay, no beeper's present, we're going to put a beeper. Are those tabs? They are. The artificial intelligences are trying to destroy us. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and I think it'll auto-indent correctly. Okay. If no beeper's present, put beeper. And when I'm done with checking to see if no beepers are present and putting beeper, then I'm going to move. Okay. And we're just going to do 5 beeperifies. Okay. Oh, that's not going to work, right? Oh, no, it did. Okay, it's learning. I think this will be successful. We're going to find out by running it. Okay? So I think main is going to 5 times run beeperify. It's going to check if there's beepers present and put a beeper move. That's going to be pretty boring initially because we're just going to put a beeper every time, right? Okay, that's boring. Let's do exciting. Or I don't know, for some value of exciting, right? We're putting beepers on a floor, right? I am going to put some beepers here. Do I know how to do that? So like, see how Karel just like cruises right over the places where there's not potholes? Okay. We'll demonstrate that one more time with the stepping. I should have called this, I don't know, is beeperify like fun to say? I think we could do funner things than that. I'm going to put 2 beepers right here. No, I'm not. Nope. Stop. It's fine. I'm fine. I'm not panicking. This is not a panic. Okay. All right, and I'm going to do this like sort of one at a time. We're going to go into main. We're going to go into the for loop. We're going to go into beeperify. In beeperify, we're going to see if there's no beepers present. There are no beepers present, so we're going to put a beeper, then we're going to move. Then we're going to go back to beeperify. We're going to do it 4 more times, right? We're going to check to see if there's no beepers present. There are beepers present, so we're not going to put a beeper. Then we're going to move. We will do that process again. And then once we're past the beepers that are placed, this time we're going to see if there's no beepers present. There aren't, so we're going to put a beeper. And then we're going to move. It also may be hard to see this, so I'm going to show you the example without the if statement. I'm just going to get rid of this if statement. I'm going to put a beeper no matter what, an unconditional beeping. A good example of unconditional beeping is my cat. No matter what you do to her, she will go at you. So like you can pat her on her little kitty head, or you can say, how are you doing this morning? She beeps no matter what. Even if there's already other beeping going on, she will still do that. I'm going to beep a little bit. I'm going to beep here, and I'm going to beep here. I'm going to check box, and then I'm going to play. And if I'm unconditionally beeping, then I double up on my beeps, right? That's too much beep. Any questions? How are the vibes? We chillin'? Okay. Yeah. Because it's cold today. Ooh, it feels colder in this classroom, do we think? I notice I'm not, like, sweating, which is, I guess, a plus. Okay. We did this. Okay. I guess I called it fill and move last year. I don't know. I think beeperify is cooler than fill and move, right? There's only one good fill-in, and that's philanthropy. Okay, sorry, we'll keep going. Going to introduce another formulation, which is the while statement. I'm not really a big fan of for. You might have noticed that from the my disfavorable descriptions of it. Another way to do things multiple times is to do them until some condition changes. I'm going to do while front is... while finally? What? Okay. If you still like AI at the end of this class, you are so powerful. Like, I read the news and I see all these things like, yeah, AI wrote this code for me, and then I like open up the thing I wrote code in and see what AI is writing, and I was like, what were you doing before? Okay. So this is while front is clear. Front is clear is one of the things that was built in to... nope, that's... You're not allowed to see that. That's faculty. Ah! Okay. Ah! I'm fine. Code. Bookmark. This, I think. Cool. Very good. Well, front is clear. We beeperify. So what this is going to do is it's not going to beeperify 5 times. It's going to beeperify n times. And n is going to be until I hit a wall. Okay? Let's demonstrate. While is awesome. While is my favorite loop. I was teaching another class the other day where it's sort of like learning a new programming language. I just only teach while, and then I let the students go figure out for when they want to. All right. Here we go. While front is clear, beeperify, play. We've completely automated pavement. One thing to look at here, there's not a beeper there. Why is that? Because we don't place the beeper before we check if the front is clear, right? So I'm not beeping the last time. Let's do another example that's perhaps a little more interesting. I'm going to put a wall in front of Karel. Wall here. Okay. And by the way, you may hate this, that there's no beeper at the end. No problem, I have a solution for you. We actually already know how to put beepers places, so I can just put a beeper at the end. And that will beep everywhere. Oh, at the end of the road! Oh, that's cute! Okay, I like that. Okay, AI uncancelled. We're back. I take back everything I said. Google's currently training an AI on the things I'm saying into YouTube to try and replace me. It will succeed. Okay. What a fun class. Okay. I have too many tabs open in my brain. Okay. Anyways, that's all you need to know to get an A this semester. We're just going to practice that for the next 15 and a half weeks. Well, 14 and a half now, because we're done with the first week. Go over things. I've taught you everything you need to know today to do problem set 1, Karel. I'm going to teach it to you again on Wednesday on the assumption that you forgot everything I said today already, which is, generally speaking, a safe assumption, right? It's like 5 days from now, right? I won't even know my legal name in 5 days, right? 25 of you have finished the introductions assignment, and a further 4 of you have started it, which means we're probably only missing 2. It's possible 2 people have dropped or something, right? The room feels a little less cramped today. Well, no, that looks pretty cramped. There's a bunch of people there. But it does look like there's a multiple of 4 in here. So that would suggest either 28 or 32 students in this classroom. Anyways, fill out the introductions assignment. And that's just for you to get to know me. You're claiming you've already filled out the survey. Good job. And I started the problem set 1, Karel, in front of all of you, so you saw me do that, so you know what that looks like. Any questions for the whole class? Okay, I'm going to desperately try and run around and remember all of your names. You're in different places. I'm not even going to be close. I'm going to ask you your name for the third day in a row. Okay? That's what we're going to do. And while I'm doing that, you should be starting problem set 1, so you do not claim you didn't start it. Wait, now I might have this.
Are you kidding?
I can access.
I'm sure it's fine. Send me a